Hi guys. I've been quite captivated by the recent story about the Japanese porn star who is accused of murdering her husband. Now, on the face of it, it kind of looks like a cut and dried case, but the fact is, it took the police more than 2 years to finally charge her with the murder of her husband. And they'd searched her phone and they found uh, searches of into poisonous drugs. Now, the autopsy found that he had died of poisoning, and they concluded that it was not self-administered. So, in this case, you would think, well, they're right to charge her with murder. But when you look at the case a little bit further, it's actually much more led by the media than the police, because the media are the ones who really want to push this idea that he was an innocent victim and that she is totally to blame. And of course, she's got no morals because she acted in adult films and was an escort, this kind of thing. But the guy was pretty shady himself. And what I really want to talk about is the way the media often controls the agenda. And there's been a separate issue when it comes to Japanese TV networks, and that's that there's a rule in Japan that any TV company cannot have greater than 20% shareholder stake from foreigners. And previously, Fuji TV was actually charged because they had a higher than 20% proportion of foreign shareholders. So what that means is that people who are involved in the company are actually not Japanese, and that's actually a bit of a contentious issue because Japan has always been fairly concerned by outside influence, and there's certainly been a higher level of immigration to Japan recently. And it's interesting that this carries on right to the top of big media organizations. And quite a few Japanese are very resentful of any interference in their government and in their media. For example, they resent Chinese influence, and they've still got this very difficult relationship with Korea. And the idea is that Koreans and Chinese are trying to spread negative and harmful stories on Japanese TV and in Japanese media so that they can portray Japan as weaker and given over to scandals. And Japan likes to think of itself as, different from Asian countries, as being better, a cut above. And of course, their previous enemies, China and Japan, although they're not at war with these countries, they've never really gotten over the fact that Japan had to lose the war, had to apologize for war crimes. And even though Japan has recently apologized for the comfort women scandal, it's never going to be enough. And a lot of real hardliners in Japan, they just don't want to have anything to do with Korea. And they don't care that, more than 50 years ago, a lot of Korean women were enslaved as comfort women, because in fact, Japan have often said that it was Japanese women as well who were involved in the sex slavery issue. Guys, this is quite a complicated story, and I can't really pass judgment if the news media is totally controlled by outside sources. My guess is it's not. But nevertheless, I was speaking to my Japanese friend, and she suggested that these people, they are parasites. They live off the Japanese system, and all they try and do is, propagate negative stories. And this is not the kind of story, I guess, which Japan would like to be spread, but the media are making it into a big story. And we're going to hear more about it. I think the latest is that she has been formally charged with the murder of her previous husband, but we don't know what kind of sentencing she's going to face or when the trial is going to take place. But anyway, I'm sure you want to follow the story, and you can find a lot of Japanese blogs about it, Japanese videos. All of them are in Japanese at the moment, but this continues to be a big story, and it does dominate the news as far as I can tell in Japan. So stay tuned, guys. Thanks for watching.